So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good. Guys, remember to smash that like button, share the videos, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can get informed whenever I put up a video. So guys, Bob Arum, as you guys are aware, at the Valdez fight on the weekend, he was sitting there with Canelo Alvarez, and he got asked who wins out of Caleb Plant and Canelo, and Bob Arum's reply was, nobody beats Canelo Alvarez. And I found that reply a bit interesting, because I was like, Bob Arum, does that include Arthur Beterbiev? Because we know that Bob Arum promotes Arthur Beterbiev. So when he says no one beats Canelo Alvarez, does that include Arthur Beterbiev? Or does it not? I don't know. Or does it not? Because Arthur Beterbiev is a guy that's promoted by Top Rank. I'm pretty sure if Bob Arum is saying that he doesn't believe, that he thinks that Canelo, no one beats, he doesn't beat Arthur Beterbiev, I'm pretty sure that won't sit down very well with a guy that you promote. But then Bob Arum has, over the years, said, especially now that he's getting a little older, he has said some things that, are not necessarily in favor of his fighters. So it wouldn't shock me, but I'd assume that he's talking about the 168-pound and 160-pound division, and he's not talking about Beterbiev. But then you never know. Like I said, is Bob Arum, you never know what he's thinking and what he actually thinks. But in terms of what do I think, I personally think that Canelo, I agree with him. I would favor Canelo Alvarez to beat everybody from 160 to 175. I know there's a lot of people that disagree, and a lot of people that think that Canelo would lose to Bivol and Beterbiev. There's some people that think that. I don't. I think he would beat Bivol and Beterbiev. I do. I think Canelo at this point, he's on a different stratosphere to every other fighter. I think he's operating at a completely different level. I think his mindset, I think his boxing skills, I think his boxing brain, I think his experience, I think it's far superior than any fighter out there. And unfortunately, I just don't think there's anyone, or there's many fighters that can live with him. Unfortunately, I think Canelo's too good, and I think I've come to the conclusion I don't think anyone's gonna beat him at this stage. And I know people think, well, Bivol's bigger and he's got a great jab and he moves, and yeah, Canelo's just too good right now. He's too strong, he's too powerful, and Bivol, for me, I think Canelo could hurt him. Canelo could hurt him and put him away. And Beterbiev, I think Beterbiev has a lot of defensive deficiencies which Canelo could take advantage of. I also think Canelo has the power to hurt him as well. I think Beterbiev could hurt Canelo, and I think Beterbiev has I think Beterbiev's a tougher fight than Bivol. Stylistically, I think Beterbiev has the kind of style that can really cause Canelo a lot of trouble. And what I mean by that is, Canelo Alvarez, for me, could be pushed back. Canelo Alvarez, for me, could be pushed onto the back foot, and Beterbiev could make him work 3 minutes of the round, and that could tire Canelo, not just physically but mentally, and that could wear Canelo down. And we have seen Canelo have trouble in the past. I personally feel that Canelo Alvarez would be too smart for Beterbiev. But then, having said that, Beterbiev is a good boxer as well. I think Beterbiev has good boxing skills, and I think people just look at him as a knockout artist, and while he's not, he's a very good amateur. He's very well schooled fighter. However, I think Canelo, the experience, the defensive skills, and that's another thing with Beterbiev. He's not defensively the most sound guy. He gets caught with a lot of shots. And when you're in there with Canelo, even though Canelo's not a natural 175, and you'd like to think that Beterbiev would be able to absorb Canelo's shots, I still think that Canelo's still got speed and he's still got power. And I think that could cause Beterbiev a lot of issues. And Beterbiev goes down. You know, Beterbiev will go down. If Canelo hits him right, he will go down. You know, we saw that in the Callum Johnson fight. And I know people say, well, Callum Johnson hits harder than Canelo. It's kind of irrelevant because I think Canelo has enough power to hurt Beterbiev. You know, unless you think Beterbiev could just walk forward and not worry about Canelo Alvarez's power. I don't think there's many fighters from at 175, 168, 160 in any of those three divisions that could potentially just walk him down recklessly and not worry about what's coming back. I even think Golovkin, if you look at the Golovkin fight, and Golovkin, let's be honest, his chin is far better than Beterbiev. Like, it's not, well, I mean, forget about the chin. Beterbiev's chin's not that bad, but Golovkin has got the best chin in boxing. Like, if he for me was hesitant to come forward against Canelo because he felt a few of those shots. You know, he felt a few of those big right hands that Canelo threw that landed on his chin. So Golovkin just didn't want to come forward recklessly because he knows this guy, he can punch. And it's not just so much the fact that Canelo would knock him out, because he would knock Golovkin out. It was more the fact that it hurts you, man. When you get caught with a big punch on your face, that hurts. That hurts, man. So for me personally, I think Canelo has serious punching power. And as we saw in his last fight with Billy Joe, you know, he broke Billy Joe's eye socket. He's, you know, look what he did to Callum Smith's arm. And I think Canelo Alvarez is getting better and better. And I said this on the live stream the other day, that I don't know what Canelo Alvarez's ceiling is. I don't know where, you know, he feels to me like every fight he seems to be getting better. He's not declining. He's getting better. I don't know where his ceiling's at. And this is why I said that this Ward argument, although I think a lot of people would pick Ward, I don't know, because Canelo seems like he's getting better. There's no ceiling right now for Canelo. It just seems like he's growing and growing. And Mike made a great point. He goes, if Canelo was to beat Beterbiev and Bivol, my argument would be completely different. I'd change my opinion about Canelo and Ward. And that's where I think right now, if you were to look at the weight classes and what Canelo's done at 168, you have to favor Ward. But if Canelo now goes up to 175 and wipes the floor with those guys and beats them, then you have to change your opinion. There's no way. I know styles make fights, but these are fantasy fights. And what Canelo would have done at even the higher weight classes, Ward's never undisputed. And let's not forget, Canelo fought Billy Joe, beat him easy. Fought Callum Smith, beat him easy. If he beats Plant easy, he's basically just walked the 160-pound, 8-pound division. If he goes then and does that light heavyweight, then oh my goodness. Then I don't think there's any debate, because for me, Canelo then would be greater than Andre Ward in his own weight classes, because Andre Ward is a natural 168 guy. He fought at 175 at the Olympics. So Andre Ward is a big guy. So Canelo would have outdone him. Right now, you'd have to say Ward's done more in the higher weight classes at 168 and 175, because he beat Kovalev. He beat a more prime Kovalev, right? And for me, he dominated a much better 168-pound division. However, if Canelo was to go and beat Beterbiev and Bivol, or even just one of them, the argument changes for me. The argument changes for me. And I think you'd have to look at that completely differently, because a lot of people, and for example, Ray, he doesn't think that Canelo beats Beterbiev or Bivol. So if Canelo goes and does a number on Bivol and Beterbiev, your opinion about a fight like Canelo and Ward would have to change. Because, like I said, right now, Canelo's not got a ceiling. We don't know how great he is. We don't know how great he's going to be. He seems like he keeps breaking boundaries every fight. And that for me is why I think right now it's hard to make that judgment about who would win in Canelo and Ward because they're not going to fight. And I think if they were to fight now, I think Canelo would beat him quite handily. But even in Ward's prime, if Canelo was to go and dominate 175, you'd have to say he's more accomplished even in the weight classes that, Ward operated in. So again, your argument and the debate completely changes. Everything changes. And I think it's going to be hard for someone to beat Canelo Alvarez. I do. I think the guy's too complete a fighter right now. And it doesn't matter whether he's fighting guys at 175 like Beterbiev or Bivol. Those guys aren't as complete as Canelo. Canelo can do it all. Canelo can punch. Canelo can box in the center of the ring. Canelo can walk you down. Canelo can become a pressure. Like, Canelo can do everything. His punch selection is better than you. His boxing brain is better than you. You know, his ring intelligence is better than most fighters. See, a lot of people say, well, oh, Kovalev was outboxing him. Well, it's irrelevant though, because Canelo knew what he was doing. Canelo knew what he was doing, and what he knew, he was going to wear Kovalev down. He knew Kovalev was you know, not the fighter he was. He knew Kovalev was going to wear down. So he was basically hitting him to the body, wearing Kovalev down, and he knew that was going to be the outcome. The same in the Amir Khan fight. He knew that this guy's a lot smaller than me. He knew he's going to slow down. He's going to be faster than me. Let him have his success. My time will come. Canelo's very clever. He doesn't panic. And before, when he fought Lara, I saw a lot of panic in Canelo's work. When he fought Mayweather, I saw a lot of panic in his work. Canelo's now very patient. He waits for his opportunity and then pounces. He's not reckless. He's not somebody that just goes in wildly. Even against Khan, at that point, I felt like at times when Khan was outboxing him a little, he went in wildly. You don't see that from Canelo. You don't see Canelo throwing wild shots now. You know, Billy Joe made him miss a little bit, but I felt like that was a very measured and calculated performance by Canelo Alvarez. I thought he was brilliant. And I don't think he was at his best, to be honest. I think he could be better than that. And even then he made it look so easy. I don't think he got out of first gear. But that's why Canelo is the best in the world. That's why Canelo is so great. That's why Canelo is special. Because it feels sometimes he doesn't even get out of second gear, but yet he's still so much better than everybody else in his competition. So that's why I think Canelo Alvarez, for me, is the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Not just his resume, but his complete skill set. You know, how patient he is in the ring, how he's developing, and the fact that he's fought so many good fighters, we still don't know what his ceiling's at. We still don't know how great he's going to be. We still don't know where he's going to get to. And that is a sign for me of a great fighter. And that's what Canelo is. He's a great fighter. He's an all-time great already. And there's very few fighters that achieve that when they're in the peak of their career. That you can already say that they're an all-time great, and when they're in the peak of their career, they still could go on to achieve much more greater things. And Canelo will go on to achieve much more greater things. But he's already an all-time great. And that just speaks volumes for how great Canelo is, to be honest with you. So yeah, I think I agree with Bob Arum. I don't think no one beats Canelo Alvarez. No one. That's my opinion. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, guys. Do you agree with Bob Arum? I know some of you won't. I know some of you think that, you know, he gets beat by by Bivol or Beterbiev. Not me. Not me. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.